never changes. The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. Too many humans, not enough space or resources to go around. The details are trivial and pointless. The reasons, as always, purely human ones. The Earth was nearly wiped clean of life. A great cleansing, an atomic spark struck by human hands, quickly raged out of control. Spears of nuclear fire rained from the skies. Continents were swallowed in flames and fell beneath the boiling oceans. Humanity was almost extinguished, their spirits becoming part of the background radiation that blanketed the Earth. A quiet darkness fell across the planet, lasting many years. Few survived the devastation. Some had been fortunate enough to reach safety, taking shelter in great underground vaults. When the great darkness passed, these vaults opened, and their inhabitants emerged to begin their lives again. One of the northern tribes claims they are descended from one such vault. They hold that their founder and ancestor, one known as the Vault Dweller, once saved the world from a great evil. According to their legend, this evil arose in the far south. It corrupted all it touched, twisting men inside, turning them into beasts. Only through the bravery of this Vault Dweller was the evil destroyed. But in so doing, he lost many of his friends and suffered greatly, sacrificing much of himself to save the world. When at last he returned to the home he had fought so hard to protect, he was cast out, exiled. In confronting that which they feared, he had become something else in their eyes, and no longer their champion. Forsaken by his people, he strode into the wasteland. He traveled far to the north, until he came to the Great Canyons. There he founded a small village, Arroyo, where he lived out the rest of his years. And so, for a generation since its founding, Arroyo has lived in peace, its canyons sheltering it from the outside world. It is home. Your home. But the scars left by the war have not yet healed, and the Earth has not forgotten.
Fallout 2 is lauded as one of the best role-playing games of all time. It literally came out a year after the first one, so that should put things in perspective. Fallout 2 was made with the Fallout's engine and uses a lot of its assets, and you will see a 2D game with mediocre graphics, simple sound and slow action. However, if you start playing it, you will discover why it is lauded as one of the best computer role-playing games of all time. This was truly the high point in the history of Interplay, when its slogan "By Gamers for Gamers" actually meant just that. Released on September 30, 1998, it was officially developed by Black Isle Studios, which by that point, had become a full-fledged design outfit.
Fallout 2 takes place a whole 80 years after the events of Fallout, on the west coast of what used to be the United States. But despite that large time gap, it is still very much a sequel. It's interesting to see the long-term effects of your previous incarnation's decisions, even if it's not like Mass Effect, where decisions carry over from previous games.
Gameplay is similar to the original Fallout. It is a role-playing game with turn-based combat, where the player plays the game in the isometric view. Fallout 2 features a much wider array of items, weapons and armor than Fallout. Most of the items from Fallout returned, but had alternate and upgraded forms.
The fact that in Fallout 2 and Fallout 3 the player characters are raised in an isolated community works with the plot structure, allowing the character to be as ignorant about the game world as player would be, and explaining why the map the character starts with is almost completely unexplored. It's interesting to see the long-term effects of your previous incarnation's decisions.
Like the super mutants moving on from being a humanity's next evolutionary step, to being just one more race of rejects in the post-nuclear world.
And even how the NCR got to the point that it is in Fallout New Vegas.
gameplay is fine-tuned, allowing more immersing interactions and reactions from NPCs, the ability to fully customize your character and your party members, and pretty much just play however the hell you wanted. You could even do a crazy role-playing things like getting married or becoming a porn star, and even more.
After the Vault Dweller got kicked to the curb in the first game, he went and founded his own community. A village that eventually develops a tribal culture and worships the Dweller as a prophet of sorts. You play the grandson of the Vault Dweller, and of course you're dubbed the Chosen One.
Told to seek a Garden of Eden creation kit, a device capable of reshaping the barren wasteland into a healthier ecosystem, the Chosen One retraces the steps of his grandparent to a Vault 13. However, Vault 13 is not as the Vault Dweller had left it. Its populace had been culled, most of its inhabitants kidnapped, and there's nary a geck to be found. The Chosen One returns empty-handed to Arroyo to find that it has now been culled as well.
The Chosen One learns earth-shattering truth about just about everything. Everything you thought you knew about the Vaults and the super mutants and the pre-war United States was wrong. Short version. The government was fully corrupt, many of the vaults were designed as human petri dishes, and the Enclave wants to use a modified virus to slaughter anyone whose DNA isn't completely pure.
However, the Chosen One put a stop to this nefarious nonsense by destroying the Enclave HQ, but not before rescuing the captives from Vault 13 and Arroyo.
The two communities founded a new settlement and lived together in harmony, happily ever afterish. So, does Fallout 2 deserve all its praise? Yes, it does. The story may not be as strong, but the villain is compelling.
The gameplay is much stronger, the references can be really funny if you know your trivia, and not even the most recent edition of New Vegas had as much variety for the main character as this one did.
The consequences, interactions, and reactions were all fine-tuned to the point that the world of Fallout 2 just came alive as you played it, and let's not forget the ridiculous number of possible endings for each and every location you came across. Simply put, it's the best Fallout game ever, and you really need to play it if you haven't already. Thank you for watching.
Feel free to subscribe for more.